Okay, we are recording. So happy Sunday, everyone. Thank you guys so much for being here. We have a super special guest. We have recognition. Sherry has a special announcement. So we're just going to get started. And I'm going to start with Success Club. And hold on, move this really quick. You guys are freaking killing it. So I'm going to start right at the top with Miss Sherry Innes herself, freaking crushing it with Success Club 18, myself with Success Club 14, Laura Vineyard, Success Club 8, Lindsay Robbins, Success Club 7, Audra Murphy, Success Club 6, Kristen Cameron, Success Club 6, Cassie Cruz, Success Club 4, Jennifer Price, Success Club 4, Jenna Downey, Success Club 4, Jen Francis, Success Club 4, Alyssa Hurd, Success Club 2, Brooke, oh my gosh, you told me how to say this last time, and I'm going to butcher it again.
It's Mouton.
Thank you. Mouton, Success Club 2, saved by Sherry. Okay. I'll pass it over to her.
Hello. This girl just joined as a coach, and she hit the ground running. She did exactly what we told her to do. Kristen Cameron signed up 3 new coaches in like her first 8 days. She hit Emerald this week. That's one of the next slides, but 3 new coaches. Holy wow. And you're the only person on that list. Go girl.
Woo!
Yes.
That's pretty freaking amazing, by the way. That's exciting. Okay. I keep having to move your faces. Oh my gosh, now I get spot. Okay, so I get to shout out my girl Laura, freaking crushing it. Mom of 2, works full time, hit Emerald in her beginning of the 3rd week into her mentorship at Success Club 8. She's still going, and I have to shout you out, girl, because you are a hard freaking worker. So proud of you.
Okay, so she's new Emerald and 1 month Success Starter.
Yes.
Success Club 8. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, on to the next slide. We've got Kristen Cameron, who is a new Emerald coach this week. That happens, guys. If you don't know, our business week goes until Wednesday evening, 11:59 Eastern Standard Time. That is the last time that you have to sign people up. And I say that because I hit Diamond at like 10:45 p.m. on a Wednesday night, trying to like rush for it. And the business week recycles on Thursday. So all the recognition, even if you hit it on Sunday, will happen on a Thursday. So officially she opened her business on Thursday, but she didn't stop with helping 2 people. She helped 3 people, and she is at Success Club 6 in her first month as a coach. No doubt this girl is going to change a lot of life. So I'm very excited to shout out Kristen Cameron again.
Okay, are you doing your special announcement now?
Oh, okay. And
yeah, go for it.
I didn't have a slide for it. So my special announcement, can I share my screen now? Would that be can I do that? I cannot share while you're sharing. So we will stop the slideshow for 1 second, if that's okay. I would like to, Jen, is Nate around you?
No, he's up. He just went to bed. Do you need me to get him?
Okay. Nope. So what I wanted to say is that for those of you guys who don't know, Jen is a coach on my team, and she is really close to Diamond. And I know, so close. And she crushes her workout. She's on her 3rd round of Lift 4. She's a mom of 3. She's got a husband who works nights at a prison. They are living, she was somebody who didn't even want to coach, and she was like, tell me about this coach thing. Can I really make money at it? I love these workouts. It's changing my life. I'd like to pay it forward. Tell me what it is. And she just went for it. And she has so many women who are trusting her in the journey, and it's so exciting. But the other night, they had somebody like probably drunk driving, whatever, like blasted down their street, hit the corner of their car, and catapulted their car into their front yard, hit and run in the middle of the night. And she woke up to, was it Nate saying like, oh my God, our car is in the front yard. And just like glass and plastic. Sorry, go ahead, Jen.
No, you're fine. I said you were going to make me cry. Yeah, it was at like 4:30 in the morning, and I woke up and Nate like jumped out of bed, and I was like, what are you doing? Because he actually, the only reason he was even home was because I actually had an ultrasound, not pregnant, for something else at 7 a.m. And I was like, what are you doing? And he was like, our damn Civic is in our front yard. And like, when she says catapulted, sorry, I'm totally like busting it. It hit hard enough that the e-brake was on, and it still moved the car three parking spaces over a curb. Sorry. And the guy took off. So all we have is half of a bumper and a wheel well that the person left behind. So yeah, and we just found out late Friday that they're going to total our car because of this guy. So anyway, sorry, continue.
I know. So I saw this and my heart broke for Jen, and then she actually had to go in for testing. I hope you don't like gallbladder stuff and like just really like a lot going on, and her daughter got baptized this weekend. So like there were just like emotions everywhere. And so I just wanted to let you know, Jen, we, if you can see my screen right now, 48 people shared this, 25 people donated, and we have $600 that was raised by random people who wanted to help you. That's a picture of her car. Can you guys see that? That was the car that just got like blasted, but there's a $600, it ends up being $574 after the fees, but like we wanted to help with the, we wanted to help with the deductible or whatever it is, or you know, they had said they had just put a new engine in the car. So like when that stuff happens, I've been there. I grew up with like not beater, but like I grew up with cars where like we had to fix stuff and like the engine, and then like something happens and it just like it breaks you, and you had health stuff going on and you haven't been able to be at your coach stuff, and there for like, anyway, we got you. This community is huge, and this was a combination of coaches and Alex is over here crying too. And we just wanted to lift you up. So it ends up being, I think after the GoFundMe fees, about $574, and we just
our deductible is like $500, so it's like spot on.
So that's for you, baby. So with that,
sorry.
No, that's amazing. I really wanted to do it on this call because I wanted you guys to see the power of community. That's why we're here. That's why a lot of us are here. That's why a lot of us fight through month after month of showing up, and maybe you feel like you're spinning your wheels and like people aren't joining, or they say they will, but they don't have the money, and it's like you're just doing all this stuff, and it's like you're here, you're part of something bigger. This is going somewhere, and you're changing lives. This has changed every girl who I can see on the screen. It's changed their lives. So if we can pay this forward and be a positive influence for somebody, that means the world. So with that, I'm going to hand this back over to Sarah, who's going to introduce our guest speaker, who's about to blow your minds.
Thank you. That sounds so cheap, but thank you.
No, that's amazing.
Oh my gosh, so many emotions. Over here like, oh God. Okay, that is freaking amazing. And I think that's why we all did this too. Not only like, yeah, we want the freaking financial freedom and just the freedom in general, but like the people, you guys, like there is nothing like this community, and you're always going to hear people say that. And it's just so true. And that is 100% like a testament to that. It's so freaking amazing. Okay. Keeping the high going and the positivity going, I get to introduce our guest speaker, Jess Lim. You guys, her accolades are like freaking ridiculous. She's a premier coach, which is freaking exciting as heck, a lifetime 5-star and 1-star diamond coach. She's Success Club 5 All-Star Legend, as well as Success Club 10 All-Star Legend. If you guys don't know what that means, those are both 2 years in a row, correct? If you're a legend, that's hitting Success Club 5 2 years in a row and 10 2 years in a row. That is freaking amazing. She was a former Buffalo Market Council. She's an Insanity Live instructor, single mama, full-time Beachbody coach, and a magic mindset freaking mentor. All right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And now, Jess Lim. Go, girl. Or wait, speaker view.
Oh my goodness, can you hear me okay? Oh my goodness, y'all have me in like tears over here. I was actually, so I was going to joke about it when I first hopped on the call because I tried to eat a salad before this and I put a jalapeno on there and I was like crying because it was so hot. So then now I don't have to blame the jalapeno because you guys really had me crying. So, oh my gosh, like my heart is just so full. I am just so humbled to be here and speaking to each and every one of you guys tonight. Honestly, like doing calls like this just lights my soul on fire, and just to have all of us here in this community and just seeing like magical moments like that, like my freaking goodness, that's what it's all about, right? It's about just creating magic in our lives and just paying it forward and doing things that bring us all joy and help bring more joy to other people. So what a great way to like enter into this call. I'm high vibing now. I'm going to talk to you guys about mindset and specifically abundance mindset, because I think when we talk about mindset, we tend to focus on a lot of like what we need to fix about our mindset instead of just focusing on the abundance that we already have in our lives and really focusing on having an abundant mindset. It's kind of like, you know, if you're in a race car and they tell you, you know, don't hit the pole, don't hit the pole, don't hit the pole, you're going to hit the pole because you're focusing on the pole instead of just focus on the finish line, right? So I'm going to share a little bit about my backstory for you guys, and I will try to give you the Cliff Notes version because it is very long. Long story short, I grew up in an Italian household. My entire pretty much upbringing revolved around lots of food. I watched my family almost my entire life struggle with their weight. I was picked on up until middle school for my weight. I was the girl that went away to go visit her grandparents in Florida, and I came back in 8th grade and I had boobs and lost the baby weight and I like, you know, puberty did me well, but I was picked on for most of my life early on, so I had built up a ton of subconscious beliefs about confidence and self-love and what I thought I was worthy of, and none of those things really presented themselves to me until I was in college. And when I was in college, I became a huge party girl. But I was also introduced to insanity when it was my senior year of college, so my last year there. I remember committing to the program the summer going into my senior year. I saw an infomercial. I didn't even order it through a coach. I didn't even know that the coaching opportunity was a thing. And I committed to it for 60 days. And within that 60 days, I lost 19 pounds. I went back to college my senior year. I looked like a completely different person. I loved how I looked on the outside, but I know that because I didn't have a coach, right, I wasn't following it to a T, and I was, you know, basically starving myself. I was killing myself from the inside out. I probably would have had better results had I fueled my body properly, but I was doing it for all the wrong reasons, just because I wanted to finally look in the mirror and love myself. But we all know that, you know, you could get the physical results and you could look great on the outside, but that doesn't mean you're going to learn to love yourself on the inside. So after college, I changed my major about 5 times, but I still ended up graduating on time somehow. And after college, I originally planned on going back to law school. I took the LSAT and I did not go to law school. I got a corporate job, which I hated. And I started this downward spiral of partying, drinking and drugs. And I was using cocaine about 3 or 4 times a week, which got me into a ton of debt. And then I had this moment. I truly believe that everything happens for you, not to you. Because I was raised most of my life Christian and then strayed. I'm Christian and spiritual, by the way. I'll touch on that in this call. I strayed from that. And then I remember thinking, like, this was not how you were raised. Like, this does not serve you. But I didn't know how to get out of my own way. And I truly believe that God gives us our stories for us and not to us. And all of a sudden it was like within a week of me like feeling like, how am I going to get out of this? You know, how am I going to turn my life around? I ended up getting really, really sick, and the doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong with me for about 6 months. I quit partying cold turkey. I stopped doing drugs. I stopped drinking, and they still couldn't figure out what was wrong with me until about 6 months and nearly $3,000 in medical bills later. They basically diagnosed me with an autoimmune disease and said, you know, the only thing that you could really do to get better is to follow a healthy diet. They recommended a whole food diet and to do adequate exercise and not run my body into the ground. So that's what I did. And one thing led to another, and all of these magical moments kind of aligned. And I ended up signing up with my upline sponsor, who's Samantha Ayoha. And I didn't dive in with the business for probably the first 4 months. But then she had a call with me and she said, you know what, like, I think that you will be amazing at this, but like, you need to go all in. And at this point I was working 3 jobs, 90 hours a week. And I said, you know what, like, why not me, right? So I was someone who was in the worst place of my life, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. I was completely lost, broken. I had, $29,000 worth of debt is what I actually paid off this past year. And my debt was just racking up. And I had probably $180 in my checking account, and I used 140 of it to sign up for my challenge pack, which you can imagine that my daughter's father was not too excited about. He actually also struggled with drugs and alcohol, which is another reason why I'm now a single mom. But once I went all in, I said, I am going to do this, and I'm going to change the future for my life and for my future family's lives. And within a year and a half of going all in, I was able to retire from my corporate job, and that was 2 months after I had my daughter, who was an unplanned pregnancy. So I was working 90 hours a week, had an unplanned pregnancy, had to remodel my home, and my business still grew because I went into it knowing that I was going to make this happen. And even though I didn't subconsciously believe that I was worthy of it, I took the aligned action, and God knew that was meant for me, right? And just by showing up, like, your mindset, guys, it's a muscle and it has to be trained. It's like, you don't wake up one day and say, I'm going to do 50 push-ups tomorrow, right? No, you say, if you can barely do 1 push-up, you're not going to be able to wake up tomorrow and do 50, right? No, you're going to have to wake up every single day and continuously and consistently work that muscle. And that's how your mind works. And that's how having an abundant mindset works, because I don't ever like to insinuate that anything is hard, but it does take the work to get there. And so over time, I went into this business not feeling like I was worthy of it, but over time and consistently showing up for myself and just showing myself, you're worthy of this. You're creating magic in your life. Like, this is possible. Everything started to fall into place. And then a year after having my daughter, I was able to quit my other 2 part-time jobs because of Beachbody, which was absolutely amazing. And I feel completely, truly blessed to say that. And this is important because in 2018, I had a really life-changing moment with Beachbody, because after I was home with my daughter for 2 years, I had worked my butt off to be a 5-star diamond coach. I locked in 5-star the final week of qualifications, and I made it to leadership. That was a huge goal of mine. I said I was going to go to leadership that year, like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, and I did it. But I got to leadership that year, and I remember walking into the first event, and this was an all expense paid trip. That year it was in Vegas. This past year it was in Arizona. It was absolutely beautiful. But the first year I went, I remember walking into the first party, and I just looked around and I thought, excuse my French, I swear, is that okay? Like, Sarah, Sherry, is it okay? I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, I looked around and I literally, like, I saw, Danielle Natoni, I saw, all the top coaches in the network, and I was like, they're making 7 figures, 6 figures. And guys, I had gotten to a point in my business where I thought that what I was doing to build my business was no longer good enough. So in order for me to hit these accolades that I was working so hard for, I was working 7 days a week. I was working probably 16 plus hours a day. And I don't know why this is like hitting me so hard today, probably because of the whole Kobe Bryant thing, but I missed an entire year of my daughter's life, which was hard, because I was putting the accolades above my daughter, because I thought that once I got there, I would be happy, that once I earned this thing, I would be happy. And then I got to the trip and I realized, you're doing 100 plus invites a day, 100 plus reach outs a day. You're working 7 days a week. You are not making time for your family. You're skipping out on things with your friends. And yes, there is aligned action, and there are things that we do have to say no to as entrepreneurs, but there are things that we can also say yes to. And I think so often we're so focused on what we don't have and getting to the next shiny thing that we forget to focus on the joy in the moment of which we're living. So I went to the event, I came home, and I cried on the couch for a week. And I literally thought, I said, I'm barely making $500 a week as a 5-star diamond coach some weeks. I'm running my ass into the ground. I'm miserable. and I thought I was going to quit. And I said to myself, it was like this moment of, and if you guys went to Summit, Rachel Hollis said it the best. She said, you did not come this far to die in the valley. And guys, like, that was what kind of hit me when I was like, Jesslyn, you don't get to quit. Like, you were made for this. This might not be the way that you're going to achieve those things that you want to achieve, but there is a way to achieve it, and you just have to find it. And so I hired a mentor. The funny thing is I had actually reached out to this mentor about enrolling for Beachbody. I actually sent her a hey girl message, and she flipped the script around on me and was like, yo girl, I can help you. And I hired a mentor for more than my mortgage payment. And I was nearly $29,000 in debt at this point with one credit card that had room left on it. And it was less than what I owed her. But I said, you know what, like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to figure it out. And like, if this doesn't work, then that's your sign, you're not meant for it, whatever. But within a month of working with her, I noticed a few things. I noticed that I was creating more balance in my life. I was creating more healthy boundaries for myself. I was making time and doing fun activities with my daughter. And while I wasn't hustling my ass into the ground in my business, I was noticing that I was hitting my goals quicker and easier and with more joy. Now, of course, a lot of people hear all this talk about gratitude and abundance and manifestation, and they roll their eyes, and I get it because I see it happen on team calls, so I know I'm that person, because I also know that I used to be that person. I used to be the person that used to look at the Lindsay Matways of the world, that used to look at the top coaches of the world that would talk about doing their affirmations and their gratitude, and I would literally roll my eyes and I'd be like, okay, that's great, but I need to do more work if I want to catch up to you. Like, that's good for you, girl, but that shit doesn't work. Well, guys, everything needs to be in alignment. And just like, again, what we do with our health and fitness, and we have our vital behaviors, all those pieces of the puzzle that we need to do every single day to hit our goals, guys, we also have to do that within ourselves. And we need to be in total alignment with ourselves in order for us to be at our highest version of ourselves. Guys, we truly, like, your like attracts like. When we talk about your vibe attracts your tribe, it sounds so corny, but it is the law of attraction. So within a month of working with her, I started to notice all these magical things happen. And then within 2 months of working with her, I was like, holy smokes, my life is so much more like enjoyable. I'm living a more like just abundant life in general. You know, I was noticing things like the flowers outside. I was, you know, taking time to compliment people, or like when someone would compliment me, it just started to have so much more meaning. And it was like, you know, like the saying, stop and smell the roses. I was finally stopping to smell the roses, and my business was still growing. And a lot of people would look at that and they'd be like, okay, well, how did you go from doing 100 invites a day to only 10 invites a day, and your business is still growing? And truthfully, it's all about finding your happy spot. Whatever I say to you on this call, you could take it for whatever it's worth, but that's what you should do with every call that you hear, right? Because what works for one coach might not work for you. And you're going to be on hundreds of trainings as a coach, guys, and your way is not the wrong way if what you are doing is working for you. So if what you are doing is working for you and it's bringing you joy and you don't feel burnt out and it feels good and it feels exciting, that is what you stick with. Now, if it's not working for you, you try what you hear on these trainings, and then you find your happy spot. For some coaches, my success partner, guys, is Katie Stevens. For some coaches, like, you know, newlywed, doesn't have kids yet, like it brings her so much joy to reach out to a shit ton of people every single day, right? For me, as a single mom with a very active 3-year-old, like, that does not bring me joy, and that is not how I'm going to bring in my people, right? Like, we're two completely different people. So how she builds her business is completely different than how I build mine. It doesn't mean that my way is wrong. It doesn't mean that her way is wrong, right? It's just we found our sweet spot and what works for us. So within a year, I created this mindset of I am going to live life and I'm going to live it to its fullest, and I am going to focus on every single moment in the day, because we are never guaranteed tomorrow. And I don't know if you guys have been on your Facebook feed, but the Kobe Bryant thing and his daughter, guys, it has me shook today. And it is just one of those reminders of just hug your loved ones and tell them that you love them, because we are never guaranteed tomorrow. And when we are always focused on tomorrow, guys, tomorrow is going to stay in tomorrow. And when you guys are thinking about your goals and we're always focusing on what's next and not what's right now, that's why you feel like your goals are further and further away. So within about a year, I started to create all of that magic. I was hitting all of my goals easier than I'd ever hit them before. And I'm not going to sit here and BS you guys. I'm not going to say that all of a sudden I went from like hitting SC 10 to hitting like SC 60. No, I was just hitting SC 10 to SC 20 easily and not worrying about it. I was just like, boom, okay, I'm calling in my people. And the reason I was calling in my people is because I was operating at my highest frequency. So in April of 2019, in January of 2019, I actually left my daughter's father because 6 months after she was born, he started drinking and using drugs again. And I tried to stick it out and get him help so that I could, do what was best for my daughter. But I started to realize that this was no longer a relationship that served my highest good, and it was no longer a relationship that was going to serve my daughter's highest good. So I left that relationship. And I took my daughter to Florida for 5 weeks. And while I was in Florida, I hopped on a call with my mentor and I Kim Kardashian ugly cried, y'all. I mean, it was bad. It was like straight up, when is life going to get easy? Why is God continuing to like knock me down? It was like, fall down 7 and get up 8, like all the time, right? And I was like, we hear that, but like sometimes when you're in it, it seems impossible. And she said something to me, and she said, Jessica, because you're in it, you don't even realize how far you've come. She said, the person that you are today would never have been able to handle what you just handled a year ago. Like, you are so strong, and you've grown into a person who is capable of handling this. You are a level 8 person, and girl, a year ago, you were a level 4. So you were looking at this level 8 problem and you thought it was never going to move. You thought you could never move that mountain. She's like, you're here. You are at your mountain and you are strong enough to move it. And God does not give you things that you cannot handle. And she said something else to me. And she said, there are people in this world who need to hear your story. And it does not matter if you are at the top of the mountain or if you are in your valley. God gave you this conviction. And because you are convicted, you will see it through. And it doesn't matter how, but you will find the tools when you need the tools. You don't have to worry about it until you have to worry about it. And you don't need to know the answer until God gives you the answer. And I was like, wow, powerful, right? So a week after that, I thought, you know what? She's right. And she told me that because of how I was sharing my story on social media, just like what we do as coaches, we share our story and we show up authentically sharing our health and fitness journey. And we just naturally attract people by sharing our authentic selves and living that lifestyle. She told me that within that 6 months of me working with her, I helped her sign up 7 clients. And she said, Jessica, just by you sharing gratitude, abundance mindset, elevating your frequency, talking about manifestation, learning about how to break down your subconscious limiting beliefs and retrain your subconscious. She goes, you're sharing about it on your Instagram story. She goes, I signed up 7 clients from you. She goes, people need to hear this and they need to hear it from you. So I was like, again, you're right. Okay. So I launched a business while I was in Florida. I wasn't even home. I said, I'm going to do it. I launched my own business, Next Level Magic, and I sold out the first course within literally like, I think 2 weeks of promoting it. And I was like, I blew my own mind, right? Because it was like, I went into it just like, I wanted to help people. I wanted to serve people. I wanted to help them. And all of a sudden I was like, boom. And that is when kind of the magic started to happen. And it was like, all of a sudden, hindsight is 20/20, right? All of a sudden you're at your up level and you realize, God, he really does do everything for me and not to me. Because guys, if I could tell you, 2019, it came with a lot of hardship, but it came with more joy than I've ever experienced in my entire life. And it brought me so much magic. And I had to get really crystal clear on who I was and what I wanted and what served me, but it allowed me to connect with people on such a different level. And because I was able to connect with them on a different level, I was able to learn so much about me and about my mission here on this earth and about how I want to lead my life and how I want other people on my team to lead their life. So I'm going to give you guys some tangible steps and some ways that you can implement having an abundant mindset. So now that you know a little bit about my backstory, if you guys have not been taking notes, now would be the great time to take notes. I touched on it before, but the number one thing that I'm going to, the number one thing that I'm going to talk about, and you guys have already heard me touch on it, is the law of attraction. And guys, when it comes to abundance mindset, the law of attraction is key. It is literally your vibe attracts your tribe. And if you are someone who is constantly focused on what you don't have, guess what? That is a lack mindset. And what you put out is what you get back. So if you put out lack, guess what? You're going to get back lack. If you put out freaking so much positive high vibe energy, you are going to get that back 100-fold. And it comes with like making little tricks like this. Someone pays you a compliment. Instead of immediately feeling like you have to pay someone a compliment right back, just say thank you. So many of us we live in this society nowadays where we feel like we can't celebrate ourselves because we're bragging, or if someone, God forbid, someone celebrates us, we have to play small because we feel like, oh my gosh, I played too big and someone noticed, right? Now I want you to shift it from a compliment, and I want you guys to think about it in terms of money. Someone hands you a $5 bill. If someone hands you a $5 bill and you hand it right back, you're back at zero, right? So when someone pays you a compliment, do not pay a compliment right back. Just say thank you. Because when we get open to receiving things from the universe, when we get open to receiving things from God, angels, love, light, whatever it is you believe in, again, I'm Christian and spiritual. So I believe in energy, love, and light. I'm spiritual, but I also believe in God, and I also believe in heaven. So whatever you believe, you could make that your higher power. But that is telling the universe that you are open to receiving, that you are open to receiving more abundance, more love, more joy, more success. And another great way is celebrating, guys. And this is something you could do before and after. We should always be in celebration mode. Guys, celebration is like my favorite thing in the entire world, because there is nothing better than celebrating other people's accomplishments and recognizing them, because again, what you put out is what you get back. And I know that sometimes people will say, well, oh, if you're celebrating someone because you're expecting something in return, well, then it's not genuine. Guess what, guys? We are all self-serving. We are not God. God is the only divine, and he is the only one that is perfect, and we are not perfect. And I do not believe that we were put on this earth to live a perfect life. So guess what? If it makes you feel better to do something for other people because you're like, you know what, if I do something good for someone, it's going to come back to me, more freaking power to you. Because guess what? There are too many people in this world putting out negative energy. And guess what? They're doing just fine for themselves because they just truly believe, you know, whatever I'm doing, it's coming back to me. Whatever, you know, money, abundance, success, it is not biased. It is not like, money does not flow to people who are good or bad. Money flows to people who are open to receiving it, right? So I know it sounds like counterintuitive, but if people are, like, we see a lot of bad people, right, that like have a lot of money that are successful. Perfect example, right? We could look at someone like Adolf Hitler. Really, really, really bad guy. Really, really, really rich. Why? Because he was open to receiving. And it doesn't mean he was open to receiving because he was good. He was just open to receiving success, right? And then you take someone, I don't know, I'm blanking right now. Beyonce. All right, we're gonna say Beyonce, right? Great human being, probably does a lot of great, yeah. Friggin' Sasha Fierce over here. You know, probably a great person. I don't know her personally, but let's just say that she's like the most amazing person in the world, does a ton of great things. Guess what? Super successful. Great person, Beyonce Knowles, Adolf Hitler, both rich, both extremely famous. Good person, bad person. So money does not flow to people who are good or bad. It's not biased. Success does not flow to people who are good or bad. It is not biased. It is simply energy, and it flows to people who are open to receiving it. So with that being said, again, if you celebrate other people because you believe that if you celebrate them, it's going to come back to you, more freaking power to you. Because Lord knows there are negative people out in the world doing a lot of negative bullshit, and they're still seeing a lot of success. So why not be the person that's doing a lot of positive shit and seeing a lot of success, right? Because the world needs more of that. That's what I'm saying. So the second tip is obviously celebrate other people, because it is going to, number one, teach you how to be excited for other people. And then when you get excited for other people, it humbles you, and then it teaches you to learn how to celebrate your own success. Because when you can be happy for other people, you can be happy for yourself, period. And I celebrate before and after everything, because a great way to elevate your frequency, guys, is to celebrate. So, and we're going to do a little exercise at the end of this call, which is one of my favorite things ever to do. And we're going to get up and we're going to shake our booties, and you guys are going to love it, because I'm going to make you love it. But so we're going to stand up and get moving at the end of this call. But before I go into any power hour, into any action hour. So let's say you're a single mama on here, or a mama multiples, or you're working a shit ton of jobs and you really freaking hate invites, but you're not financially in a place to pay for a virtual assistant or to pay for a sitter, right? Like, so I'm someone where there was a point in my life where I couldn't afford a sitter. I couldn't afford a virtual assistant. How do I enjoy doing invites, right? Because you always hear, if you don't enjoy doing it, you know, do less of it or delegate it. Some of us aren't in a position to delegate. Okay, well, if we're going into every single power hour resentful of the fact that, oh, I have to do these invites or I have to do these connections that I don't want to do, and you're going into your power hour with a lack energy, right? Guess what you're going to get back? When you're wondering, oh, why aren't people responding to my messages? Why am I not attracting my dream coaches? Why am I not signing up clients? Well, look at how are you going into your power hour? Are you going into your power hour like not feeling it? Because if you're not feeling it, Lord knows they ain't going to be feeling it. Guys, I know it's energy, and I know what we do is virtual, and you probably don't. They're like, well, they can't see how I feel. Guys, they can. People know. Your vibe attracts your tribe. So I celebrate before I go into my power hour. So every freaking day, you guys will see it on my Instagram stories because I do it before I work out. I do it while I work out. I do it before my power hour, and I do it all during my power hour. I freaking jam out. Guys, find a way to celebrate and live into your future self. Because if you are waiting to celebrate until you get to the finish line, guys, you are never going to get to the finish line. Because how we get over there is by bringing over there into over here. It is just like you cannot hustle your way into a balanced life. How many of us, and you guys can raise your hand on this call, how many of you guys, when you picture your highest self or when you picture your vision board or achieving your goals, how many of you guys picture yourself living like a perfectly balanced life, you know, unplugging on the weekend, being able to travel as much as you want, having a well-rounded relationship with your family, an amazing connection with your spouse, significant other? How many people say aye? Okay. How many of you guys feel like you are doing that wholeheartedly right now in your business? We cannot expect to hustle our way to balance. And I am not saying don't take aligned action, guys, because I take massive action. But if you want to live a life of balance and joy and freedom and abundance and success and happiness, but you're waking up every single day feeling burnt out, resentful, not making time for the people that you love, getting snippy, feeling like you're never doing enough, guys. Never enough does not equal more than enough. You will never get there. So you have to bring the future into the now. And that is why I celebrate everything, guys. When I set my feet down on the floor first thing in the morning, I celebrate, guys. And guys, if I lay my head down on the pillow at night and the only thing that I was able to do in that day was wipe my ass without my 3-year-old child walking in on me, I celebrate that too. Literally, I celebrate everything because some days as a single mom, you know, I'm in a great place now where I can afford a virtual assistant, where I can afford a babysitter, and that's great. But there are some days that I don't have a babysitter, and there are some days where my child needs her mom, or she's sick, and she can't do certain things. And some days, my list has 1,000 things on there, and I think I'm going to be able to tackle all of it, and my kid doesn't let me do a darn thing on it. And guess what? I still put my head on the pillow at night now, and I celebrate it because I showed up and I did my best. Because Lord knows, for far too long in my life, I went to bed every single night feeling like I wasn't enough. For 4.5 years in my coaching business, no matter how many invites I was sending 100+ invites a day, and I was laying my head down on the pillow at night not feeling good enough. And so guess what was happening? I would wake up in the morning feeling behind and not feeling good enough. And what you put out is what you get back. So of course I was not getting enough in my business, right? So I brought in the celebration technique that my mentor taught me, and what it does is it reprograms your neural pathways. So what happens is we create a negative pattern based on the results that we're seeing, right? So perfect example is there are people in this network that send hundreds of invites a day and see massive success from it, right? There are people that send 100 invites a day, run multiple 6 or 7-figure businesses, and that works for them, and that brings them abundance, right? That brings them joy. They're feeling it. They're doing good. That brings them joy. But there are also people that probably send hundreds of invites a day and don't see massive success from it. So guess what happens? Those people that are sending a shit ton of invites a day and not seeing success from it, they start to create a negative pattern. And that negative pattern creates a subconscious belief, which then creates a limiting belief. And then all of a sudden, you're going into your business every single day, subconsciously believing, I don't know why I'm doing this because the more invites I send, the less successful I am. And that is the pattern that you create for yourself. And guys, your subconscious is always going to mirror back to you in your physical reality. And I know it sounds freaking crazy, but guess what? It is always going to be mirrored back to you. So if your subconscious truly believes that you are doing too much for not enough, you are going to continue to receive not enough until you switch the belief. And it's guys, it can be as simple as identifying what the limiting belief is and then replacing it with a positive pattern. So basically what celebration does is it creates a new neural pathway. So if you've created a negative pattern about invites, because maybe you're someone on this call who sends a ton of invites every single day and you don't hit Success Club every single month and you're wondering why, it's not necessarily what you're doing wrong, it's just your belief. So what you can do is you can create an affirmation. I do just enough work for more than enough. Or I take the aligned action and see more than enough results. Whatever your affirmation is that you want, you can think of it and you can write it down. But what you are going to do is you are going to think of that affirmation. And then before you go into your power hour, or before you go into working your business, or before you go into doing whatever it is that scares you or you feel like you are not good enough to do that day, you are going to celebrate. And you are going to envision your highest self, and you are going to affirm your highest self that you are worthy of it. And then you are going to dance for at least 30 seconds, because then all of a sudden your brain is going to associate the movement with the belief. Every time I dance, I believe I'm worthy. I'm dancing, I believe I'm worthy. I'm doing my invites. All of a sudden, you start to associate doing invites with worthiness. You see what I'm saying? And then time after time, you continue to be consistent with that work, time and time and time again. All of a sudden, you create a new positive pattern with what you're doing, and you create new positive beliefs for working your business. So it's all about identifying what limiting beliefs you hold and then creating a new positive pattern to do it. So number 2 is always celebrating. Number 3 is that the abundance pool never dries up. There is more than enough abundance to go around. And I don't care what you believe. I don't even believe in the Federal Reserve. I don't believe in inflation or all that BS, because I literally believe that the money in the world will never run out. I truly believe money is all energy. Success is energy, abundance is energy, and one person's success does not take away from yours. And it never will, guys. We go into this business, and so many people go into this business thinking, I'm not going to be successful because Susie May down the road is a 5-star diamond coach, and she's already taken all the people that want to do coaching. I'm not going to be successful because, well, she joined 6 years ago, so it was easy for her. It's not going to be easy for me. Or I'm not going to be successful because who would want to join with me when I'm a low man on the totem pole? And there's people that are like top 10 in the company, right? Someone else's success does not take away from yours, and your success does not take away from other people. And again, it all circles back to celebrating other people. But guess what, guys? Your people are going to find you no matter what. When you figure out who you are and you get crystal clear on your vision and where you want to go and your highest self, you cannot keep your dream people from coming to you. They will find you no matter what, because they were always meant for you. You just have to be open to receiving them. I love to use the example of a magnet. So you have a magnet in your hand, a small magnet, right? Like one that you would like hang up on your, hang pictures up on your fridge with, right? There's that magnet in your hand. There's the magnet, its counterpart is in the other room, right? But it's through a wall and down the hall. But you know that that magnet is there, right? And you know that that magnet is meant for you. And this is kind of where I bring in manifestation, like the super woo with the aligned action, and like try to explain how you take aligned action, but also have a mindset of abundance and manifestation. Is you have to take the action to bring the magnet that's in your hand into the room that's down the hall and through the wall, right? But once you get close enough to that magnet, they're going to collide, right? It took action on both parts. That magnet was always there. It was always going to come to you. It was always going to meet its counterpart. You just had to take the action to get there, right? You just had to walk down the hall and go through the wall, and it came to you. So it does not matter if someone else who lives in your same hometown, or someone else who signed up 6 years ago, or someone else who is the top of the company. Guys, the abundance pool never dries up. And that is just a mindset that we have to truly wholeheartedly believe, and it will never run dry. Number 4 is show up as the person that you want to attract. And this seems, again, super silly, but when we talk about creating vision boards, when we talk about, Sorry, I heard my little one. When we talk about creating vision boards, when we talk about painting the picture of your highest self, some people, they half-ass it, or some people don't even do it. I used to be that person. I used to be the person that never created the vision boards, that never, got crystal clear. Guys, I have a 6-page paper describing who my highest self is, down to when I brush my teeth in the morning, what my makeup looks like, what kind of scrunchie I have in my hair, what time I wake up in the morning, what food is in my fridge, and how I choose to live my day. Now, obviously, every day is not Groundhog's Day, so the vision that we have of ourselves on the vision board is like a Groundhog's Day vision, right? So it's not going to be like that every single day. But you have to paint a super crystal clear version of who you are so that you can see yourself in the picture, guys. If you are shooting for elite, but you don't see yourself as an elite coach, and you see Bonnie Engel or Danielle Latoni or Lindsay Matway or Amy Rada or whoever in that picture, and you don't see you, you guys are not going to be elite coaches. And I don't mean that to be a terrible person or to shatter your dreams, but guys, you have to paint yourself in the picture. And you have to show up as her, guys. You know what one of my favorite things is people will always say, oh, tomorrow, or oh, when the new year starts, I'm going to start doing this. Do you think that elite coaches, do you think that the 2020 elite or 2019 elite coaches, do you think that they were waiting for tomorrow to do the things? No, they were doing the things yesterday. And they were doing the things like 12 yesterdays ago, right? Because 12 yesterdays ago, before they were 6 or 7 figure earners, they were showing up as the future version of themselves that they knew they wanted to be. They weren't there yet, but they consistently showed up as her every single day until one day they woke up and they were her. And now those are the people we look up to. You want to know the difference? Is because they saw themselves in the picture, and it did not matter what life threw in their way. They chose to show up as her every single day, no matter what. And they might not have believed it then, but they showed up every single day until every single day they worked that belief muscle a little bit more until they truly believed it and they embodied it. Guys, we don't want the manifestation. We become the manifestation. That is why when we set these huge goals for ourselves and we actually achieve them, they seem normal. And that is also the same reason why we achieve these amazing goals and then we're always wondering what's next. Because once we achieve the super big goal, we've become the person that's able to hold on to that level of success, where it's almost like a no-brainer. Like, of course that was meant for me, right? So we have to show up as the person that we want to attract every single day. And I know that sometimes every single day is maybe just putting your head and being grateful every single day that you woke up and you lived. But we have to be grateful every single day, and that is how we create an abundant mindset. Because it takes aligned action, yes, but it also takes a ton of gratitude and a ton of grace. And one of my favorite quotes for this year is, grace is where God fills in the gaps that you can't. And if you guys don't follow Amanda Frances on Instagram, she's freaking amazing and has an incredible podcast, and I would highly recommend following her because she's amazing talking about money and she's amazing talking about success. And she talks about grace and giving yourself grace, and grace is where God fills in the gaps that you can't. And if you are taking aligned action and you are taking massive action, guys, and you're still not seeing the results, it's your belief. And so allow grace to be a part of your life. And instead of beating yourself into the ground and continuing to be guilty and feeling like you're not enough, say, you know what? I'm going to give myself grace today because I did my best. And you know what? God is going to give me that grace because he's going to fill in the gaps that I can't. So that's number 5. And the last thing is, I want you guys to get really clear on what feels good to you in your business. And this is kind of where I think coaches in the network will be like, okay, like there's mindset and then there's action. Okay, well, there's both. Because for some people, again, they're subconsciously conditioned to just be massively successful and they can do a shit ton of work and they see a shit ton of success. But then there's also people, like a lot of us, that are subconsciously programmed to do a shit ton of work and not see a ton of success, right? But it can be changed. It can be changed. We're all programmed differently. Human conditioning, guys, that's why we're so amazing. That's why we're all miracles. It's because none of us see, we could be looking at the exact same thing and none of us see it the same. None of us hear things the same. None of us feel things the same. None of us do things the same, guys, and that's so amazing. So why do people think that our success is going to be the same or that achieving success is going to be the same? It's not. And that's okay. So I want you guys to get really crystal clear on what feels good to you. And I want you guys, again, to take this with a grain of salt, because one thing that I got really clear on was delegate, do less, or delegate, do less, or delete, right? So delegate means maybe You hire a VA for 5 hours a week to do something for you, or maybe even 5 hours a month. You start small, right? Do less. If you are someone who right now you're doing 100 invites a day and you are not seeing a return on those invites, maybe reel it down to 50. Because guys, maybe your energy behind those 100 invites is janky energy and it's burnt out and resentful and lackful. And maybe if you bring it down to 50 invites a day, the energy behind those invites is going to be joyful and exciting and abundant and fun, right? And then we have delete, guys. And this is where we figure out in our business what is actually serving us. Are the actions that you're taking over here bringing you the results over there, right? Sorry, my kid is having a heyday over there. She's fine. My uncle or my brother's home. She's good. She's just crazy. So are the actions that you're taking over here going to get you to over there? So identify, are these actually working for me? And that doesn't mean, guys, like if you are someone that's like, the vital behaviors are there for a reason, maybe you don't delete doing the invites because we still need those things, right? But maybe you delete doing the things where you're like, you know what? I was doing a lot of that and seeing zero return, so I'm not going to do it next month, and I'm going to try to do something else. I'm going to try to do this way. Guys, it's all trial and error. Rinse and repeat. So do less, delegate, or delete. And guys, it's all just fine-tuning that happy spot, but it's all about bringing in the joy. And so when we bring in the joy to our business, guess what? We're going to start to create more joy in our lives. And when we create more joy in our lives, that's more abundance. And the more abundance we put out, the more abundant that we get back. And so with that, though, there's also the fine line of asking yourself, what actually feels good to me? And this is where that's that gut check that comes in. I preach abundance mindset. I also preach taking massive action. I do not take actions that do not feel good to me, though. And some days I will wake up and for me, it doesn't feel good to do invites and it doesn't feel good to do connections. So I do live trainings for my coaches instead, or I do, Instagram stories, and I do a lot of call to actions, or whatever it is. But I always show up for my business, and I always do what brings me the most joy in that day, because that is where I'm the most energetically aligned, right? So find a system that works for you. I use this tracker. I use the Win the Week tracker, and it really has just been a game changer for me. But because some days I wake up and my energy is not aligned with invites, right? Other days I wake up and I'm like, let's freaking go. But ask yourself every single day, and this is just like working out, is this really what I want to do? Because some of you are going to say, you know what? I don't want to work out today because I'm not feeling it. Is that really what you want to do, though? Because we all know that once we press play on the workout, we feel like freaking Sasha Fierce Beyonce afterwards, right? Like, I have never done a workout that I haven't celebrated the heck out of afterwards, because I'm like, damn, I'm so good I did that. I didn't want to do it before, but I feel good doing it now. So ask that to yourself. Does it really feel good not to work my business today? Or am I maybe just making excuses, and does it actually feel good to maybe start doing it and just do the actions that feel good so I did something and I can celebrate that, right? So it's all about, again, finding that sweet spot. So before I have us do this activity where I'm going to teach you 4 ways to celebrate, which is my favorite thing to do, I want to leave you guys with this. Abundance mindset is all about focusing on what you already have and not what you don't. Because when we focus on the gaps, we're going to manifest more lack in our lives. God did not put you on this earth to play small. Whatever you are going through in this phase or this moment of your life right now, it was meant for you, and God is giving you this story for a reason. And I know, guys, that it often feels really tough, and it feels painful, and it feels scary, and it feels hard. And some days you wake up and your life feels amazing. Like, why can't every single day be like this? And, I wish every single day I could wake up and, everything was rainbows, caterpillars, and butterflies, guys. But that is life. We don't live in a virtual reality. We don't live on a freaking hamster wheels. And how amazing is that, right? Whatever phase of life you are going through right now, God gave that to you for a reason, and He did not put you on this earth to play small. And when you think about playing small, I want you to think about walking into the other room and telling the person that you love most in this world that their dreams aren't big enough. I want you to walk into that room every time you think about playing small, and I want you to tell your son or your daughter or your husband or your brother or your sister or your mom or your dad that their dreams aren't good enough, that they have to play small because they're making other people feel bad. You guys are here for a reason. You are a part of Team Beachbody for a reason, and you are a part of your team for a reason. And that conviction, that message, that needs to be heard, and people need to know who you are when you walk into a room. So I want you to bring that energy to your business. Every single day, I want you to wake up, and I want you guys to know that you are a badass mother effer, and that you are going to mess stuff up in 2020, and you are going to change the game for Team Beachbody, for all the other coaches who have ever felt like they weren't good enough, for all the other people who ever thought that they could never look in the mirror and feel beautiful, whoever, thought that they could have a child and not love themselves and look in the mirror again, or the people that maybe struggle with addiction and thought that there's no answer. You are going to be the answer for them, and they need your story, and they need to hear it from you, period. God did not give you this conviction so you could play small. So that's the energy that you're going to bring into your business every single day, and I want you guys to remember it because I believe in you. I believe in each and every single one of you on this team, and you guys, I want you to know I am celebrating the heck out of all of your wins. I might not be showing up on every single post or commenting on every single post, but I want you guys to know that I'm going to be celebrating you. I'm going to be behind you 110 steps of the way, because that is how we get to the top. We rise by lifting others, and we are here together, and our message needs to be heard. With that, we're going to stand up, and we're going to learn how to celebrate. You guys ready? All right, stand up. Get ready to move your booties. Okay.
At this point, we are all here for it.
We're here for it. All right. So there are 4 ways to celebrate. So some people get really uncomfortable about learning how to celebrate, or guys, no accomplishment is too small. Everything is a big deal. Everything in your life is a big deal. You're breathing. We are living, we are moving. We're walking miracles, okay? You know how many things are going on in our body right now, all simultaneously happening to keep us alive? We're freaking miracles, okay? We're all magic. Roll with it. So, first way you could celebrate is you could give yourself a giant high five. I want you guys all put one hand up in the air like this, and I want you guys to take this hand down here, and I want you guys to click your heels and high five. Big jump. All right. So, some people celebrate like that. Other people, they like to pat themselves on the back. So you guys are just, give one of these. Guys, pat yourself on the back when you do the dishes, when you vacuum the floor, when you put your feet on the floor in the morning, when you drive to the post office and mail out your first, this coach signed up, I'm sending her a freaking decal. You pat yourself on the back like the baller that you are, right? And if you don't want to pat yourself on the back, you can brush your shoulders off. I like a little swag in my life, right? Okay. Third way. Now, I told you guys, when you walk into a room, you better let everyone know who you are and that you came to mess stuff up in 2020, right? You came to freaking mess 2020 up and change the game. So you're going to walk into that room like you are freaking Jesus. Hands up in the air, and you are going to let the world know you're here. And guys, every single day before you start your business and when you're doing your affirmations, I want you to stand in your power pose, because it is scientifically proven that when you stand like this for at least 60 seconds or more, your chemical makeup changes and you are more likely to achieve your goals. Stand there like the badass that you know you are, and what you came to do is going to freaking manifest itself in your life. All right? Now the fourth and final way to celebrate, and I feel like I got to drive this home in a hot second, so I want you guys just to stay there in your power pose. We're going to stay in our power pose because we're here for it. Stay in your power pose. So guys, I want you guys to think of some affirmations too while you're standing there. I am worthy. I am abundant. I am a freaking money magnet. I am a success magnet. I am a 5-star diamond coach. I am an elite coach. Whatever it is that you feel like is holding you back, that is your affirmation. And then, when that doesn't feel celebratory enough, you can also do what my favorite thing ever is to do, and you can
do my hands on
bump some Lizzo,
baby, how you feel?
shake your video,
Check my nails, baby, how you feel?
woo child,
Tired of the bullshit, gone does your shoulders off. Keep it moving,
yes Lord.
Trying to get some new shit in there, swimwear, going to the pool shit. Come now, come dry your eyes. You know you a star, you can touch the sky. I know that it's hard, but you have to try.
I do what I say, guys, every day.
You let me know.
All right, everyone with me.
I do my hands on, check my legs, baby, how
All right? That is how you enter every single day working your business and creating your life by design. Every single day. Find a way to dance. Find a way to celebrate. Find a way to bring that high vibe energy into your business, and you will never fail. Life is about joy, and it is about fun, it is about magic. Every single day. We are not guaranteed tomorrow. And if today was the last day that you had on this earth, when you want to go celebrating the heck out of it with the people you love, take the time today to live as the person that you want to be a year from now, 3 years from now. And if that person is someone who spends time with their family, who loves what they do, who's happy, and who's joy-filled, and who has fun every single day, you start creating the person that you want in the future by being her right now. Bring that feel-good energy into your business every single day, guys, and you will not fail. I promise you. So that is what I have for you guys. Y'all are amazing. Thank you so much for letting me share my heart with you guys tonight. I will open it up for questions. I think you guys want to do questions. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh my gosh, fire!
Right? Isn't it so fun to dance? Like every college should have a dance party.
Girl, that is so much fire, and I love like watching the chat and people just relating to your heart. And so thank you so much for showing up with all of your energy, showing up authentically, and just like pouring into us. I loved that.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I had a blast, guys. I love this stuff. This is like, I live for this.
Does anybody have questions for Jesslyn?
There's a lot of comments. I'm trying to read them.
So, personal story, I have a really good friend who has been a coach for 3 years, and she, the coach business can be this.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you want it to be, honestly, you create your destiny in this business. In any business, you create your destiny. But, she'd kind of fallen off and lost the joy. She was doing all the things. So I loved your talk tonight, Megan Ketchum, and she joined your mentorship and really reattached to the joy of this business.
Yeah.
And this is true for anybody who's a new coach and you haven't signed a single person up yet, or if you've been in it for 6 months, or if you've been in it for six years, like finding the joy and doing the things that are authentically you, and stop trying to be somebody else and do what works for other people. Find the joy, do those things, because what happens is that your energy just like, it's freaking contagious. Like, dancing, everybody was in on that. We got Tracy, we got like Jesslyn, just like,
I'm not even a good dancer, y'all. Like, I know I'm not a good dancer, but once I get the bug, nothing's stopping this girl.
You're basically Beyonce.
So exactly, I show up as Sasha Fierce. And I think that's the thing too, guys, is like showing up as your authentic self, because when you try to show up as someone else, you will. And this sounds like kind of counterintuitive, but when you try to show up as someone else, you will never be good enough, right? When you try to show up as someone else, you will never be good enough, because only they can be the best at their highest self, right? When you show up as yourself, you are always going to be more than enough, because that is what the world needs, right? No one was created alike for a reason. So it's like, show up as you and get crystal clear on it. For like years, I like never swore on polls, never swore on my Instagram stories. Like I remember like saying like, well, successful people don't swear. Well, Ashley Molstad is #1 in the freaking network and she swears a lot. So, I mean, hey, so like once you like identify who you are and how you want to show up to the world and what feels good to you, everything will fall into place. Everything.
I love that. Jess, what is your Instagram handle again?
Oh, it is at JESLYN Fitness.
Okay. Guys, if you took stories, make sure you tag her so that she can repost those. This is
repost and tag, yes.
super fun to have her on our team call, and then just put on team call. This is a way to share the opportunity. You guys aren't saying like, hey, do you want to be a coach with me? But you're actually just posting the habits of being a coach. So if you took Boomerang, or if you took like the dancing, put that on Instagram, tag everybody that you know, and then just put like team call, love this community, LOL, dancing with my dog.
I muted myself because my child is having a heyday and they're scared past their bedtime, and Uncle Nick doesn't know how to put her to bed, so. But thank you all for hanging out with me. Guys, thank you so much and if you guys have any questions at all, feel free to like DM, whatever, like open book over here. So I'm so humbled for you guys having me on. I had a blast. I love you guys. And I'll catch up with you later.